What's up, guys? Welcome to G Whiskey. I'm Jeff. This is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and if you stick around to the end, I'll be giving it a score as well. If that sounds interesting, hit subscribe down below, and with that out of the way, let's jump into our review. Today we're looking at the Talisker Dark Storm. Stick around. Talisker Dark Storm. This is one of many budget-friendly, no-age stated Taliskers. I did look at the regular Storm a few months back, last year maybe. Didn't love it. What else do you have? You have stuff like the Sky, you have the Port Re, you have the Distiller's Edition. The Distiller's Edition I will be looking at soon, maybe next week. Anyway, I'm not usually a fan of Talisker's budget-friendly offerings. Some people have even gone so far as to call me a snob because I am so dismissive of their cheap stuff, and that might be the case. I will not deny that I am a woman of expensive taste. And if you need any further convincing that I am in fact a snob, here's a picture of me reacting to Johnny Walker Red. Anyway, if you saw my recent video on Talisker 10, you'll know that I was not impressed with the current state of it. I scored it an 82, I believe. And in that video, I said that you're better off going for more of the mid-range stuff. So that would be your limited edition Parlay or the Surge. But I realized after making that video that there was one bottle that I hadn't had in a really long time, and this one does run the chance of being a diamond in the rough at the more affordable end of Talisker. I think the last time I had a bottle of this stuff was like 10 years ago at least. And that is a very long time. I don't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning. That's a lie. It was Weetabix. I had Weetabix. Now, this is one that doesn't get talked about too much these days online. I think there's a couple of reasons for that. One, it is more expensive than the uber budget range of Talisker. That would be like the Storm, the Sky, the 10-year-old. This is more expensive. And two, this one is a travel retail exclusive. Although, if your market is anything like Taiwan, you can just buy it at the shop down the street. Now, what's nice about this bottle is that, yes, it is more expensive, but at least it comes in a bigger size. This one is a 1-liter bottle. The big pitch with this one is that this was matured in heavily charred casks. What kind of heavily charred casks? We don't know, but that's still more information than Talisker would normally give us, so thank you. Anyway, I think that's all the intro stuff covered, so let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into our review. In the meantime, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, blah, 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 blah. So we have the standard Talisker specs here, the typical 45.8% ABV. That one gets a pass from me. It is probably chill filtered, and it is colored. So Talisker did cause quite a stir when they rebranded a couple years back. I'm not sure if it was like 2 or 3 years ago. It wasn't long ago though. And a lot of people hated the bottles immediately. I didn't hate them immediately, although over time, I admit I do like them less and less. A lot of people call them tacky. I can't disagree with that. With this one, we have the blue outline, which I guess is nicer than the orange that we get in the 10, but hardly a beautiful bottle. I'll give it 2.5 out of 5. We get 0 information when it comes to color or chill filtration, which is par for the course. This doesn't really give us much info at all. We get the usual latitude and longitude, made by the sea, all that stuff. I gotta say, I do like the tagline on this one though, which reads, "Untamed intensity and roaring spice." I don't know if the marketing team just got back from a trip to the zoo, but it sounds cool. On the nose, pretty much right out the gate, this comes across as a very typical Talisker. We get the typical Talisker notes here, so you get pepper, sea spray, minerals, honey, toffee. This does have a certain charred oak quality to it. I get vanilla, I get this kind of like Vicks Vapor Rub, eucalyptus, herbal thing going on, and I get a very sweet tobacco note, which I like. It is a simple enough nose, but it is nice. On the palate and finish, this is sweet and spicy up front. It's more peppery and mineralic than a lot of other budget Taliskers. I get a floral honey here. I get plenty of those salty coastal notes here. There's toffee, there's caramel, there's tobacco, there's toasted oak. So a lot of this is just kind of a repeat of what we got on the nose. It is a very linear whiskey, but again, pretty nice. All right, so this is a pretty decent Talisker. I do think it's different enough from a lot of the other budget-friendly Taliskers out there. As I said, for me, those bottles don't really set the bar that high. So is this better than those ones? Yeah, I think so. This one gives us more of the recognizable house style than what you get with, let's say, a modern iteration of the 10. So that's to say, you're getting more of that sort of like limestone mineralic note. You're getting more of that salinity, more of that black pepper. So the things that you would expect from a good Talisker are in here. Now, that's not to say that this is a great whiskey. It's not a great whiskey. It's good. It's a simple and linear whiskey, and it's definitely not doing anything new. It's a typical Talisker with just a little bit of a twist. But that twist does help. I think the charred oak notes do take it in a slightly interesting direction. We have a nice richness to this. The sweetness is good here. I do think it could be dialed back a little bit, but it's a nice sweetness. Overall, it's a well-made, well-rounded, easy sipper. It's not going to challenge you. If you are looking for a more like rugged and edgy and peaty Talisker, if you want more of a challenge, this will not be for you. So you might want to go for like the annual Diageo special releases. Something like this is more akin to the rest of the budget core range, which means it's safe and straightforward. As I said, this does have that dark charred oak quality that for me does give it a bit of a twist and elevates it over the rest of the budget core range. So I do like this more than the Storm or the Sky or yes, even the Budget 10. But it's not an epic whiskey. It's not going to blow your pants off. Socks. Now, going back to our tagline that I mentioned earlier, does this give us untamed intensity and roaring spice? Let's start with the intensity. Is it untamed? It's not as wild or as untamed as the Diageo special releases or Lions, but it's not completely tame or domesticated either. I would describe our intensity as semi-feral. Next up, we have roaring spice. So is our spice roaring? Again, my mind goes to lions. No, this spice does not give us a lion's roar, but it doesn't give us a house cat's meow either. I think our roar here would be more akin to an ocelot. On a good day, an Iberian lynx. Ultimately, this is an easy, drinkable, sippable, enjoyable, middle-of-the-road whiskey with just enough of a twist to keep it interesting, but it's not going to stand out. And I feel like most people are probably going to land pretty much where I do on this one. Because a lot of the time when I do a review, I'm like, oh, this is my opinion, you might not share it, but I do feel like most people would have a pretty similar reaction to this whiskey. I don't think anyone's going to hate it. I don't think there's many people out there that'll be like blown away by it either. I think most people would say, yeah, it's pretty good, it's enjoyable, it's nice. So score is 84. As I said, better than the rest of the budget releases, interesting enough, but not really standing out in any way, but enjoyable. Now, before we jump into value, I do want to say a quick thank you to all my patrons and channel members. Guys, thank you so much for the support. And if you want to help out, if you want to help keep the channel financially sustainable and independent, there are a number of ways that you can help. I've got both Patreon and PayPal linked down below. Anything and everything helps, guys. And again, huge thank you to those of you who are already supporting me. Now let's talk value. So our value is pretty good on this one. I paid just over 50 US, around 40 pounds for this, and you're getting a liter bottle of a pretty decent Talisker. So if you're looking for just kind of an easygoing daily sipper, you can do a whole lot worse than this. For value, it's definitely recommended. All right, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As I said, I've got Patreon and PayPal down below. And of course, I want to hear from you. So have you tried our Talisker Dark Storm here? How did you like it? How would you compare it to the rest of the range? How would you compare it to the modern iteration of the 10-year-old? Curious to hear your thoughts on that one. So you can put all of that down below. And also down below, you can let me know what you want to see me review down the line, and I will keep that in mind for my upcoming videos. Bye, guys.